Peace, everybody. What's up? What's good? Ashe, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So glad to be back on this episode. This is episode 9. Welcome to Out the Loop podcast with my girl Gillian and my girl Reshonah, my sisters. You all know how we get down or whatever. Today we're going to be piggybacking off of last week. If you have not watched last week's podcast, go ahead and tap in, all that good stuff. It was so beautiful. Yeah. So with that being said, today we're going to be talking about the work, right? And so this podcast is specifically the work is going through it. Like that's the work. And we'll be getting into that and what that means for us as spiritual beings and what that means for you guys on your journeys as well. Okay. So as always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, press the bell notification so that you're notified every time we load, and yeah, all that good stuff. All right, let's tap in. So I'm actually telling a story, guys, about some things that is going on with myself this week, and it's basically doing the work and getting through it. So some things happened to me this week that were very much triggering for me. And so telling my sisters about it, I realized like this is the work, right? And so as I'm getting messages of why the things that are going on this week are going on, right, I then get 2 more things that I'm supposed to be doing as far as like a YouTube channel and a podcast. I'm like, me? Like by myself? Like what? And so yeah, so I got that or whatever to do that. But Spirit told me like you gonna have to like December is gonna be different. See, like with the other months, like y'all know Chiron has been in retrograde, will be in retrograde till December 26th, right, ladies?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 26th till December 26th. And you know, Chiron is all about healing childhood wounds and whatnot, right? So December is going to be beautiful for me with all the healing and things that I'm going to have to endure. Spirit has already told me, and it's already started, y'all. We only 3 days in. But I said that to say, they told me that I'm going to have to work through it. So I feel like with the other months, these previous months that's passed, like I was able to like, you know, go in my little lion's den, right? Go in my shell and do my healing all by myself, this, that, and the third. But this time I'm being pushed out into the public to talk about my experiences. And you know, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty let me find the right word. Maybe challenging. I could say that, right? I could say that.
Yeah.
Okay. It's pretty challenging for me because first and foremost, like the things that I may have to share, right? Like I don't want to talk about them, let alone talk about them to y'all. Can I be honest? You know, to the public, right? But I realized that there is a healing, you know, within that itself, and that I could be helping, you know, millions of people who this podcast is going to reach, you know, and then who our separate platforms are going to reach as well. And so with that being said, yeah, let's talk about working through it. The work is going through it again, y'all. Let's tap in. Reshonah.
What's going on,
Gillian, it seems like
Reshonah? You look so pensive. What's the work that you're going through now?
you said I look so what? I'm sorry.
Pensive.
Yeah.
You're
Expensive? I look
beautiful,
expensive?
pensive,
Oh,
deep in
pensive.
thought. Your smile is not here today, and you look like you're going through something. So
That's why I said,
you're going.
Reshonah.
I know, I'm like, yeah, okay, Jamesia. We're gonna stick with the work through it, right? Because that was what a title today, right? I guess it's fitting.
Correct. It's definitely fitting. I agree.
It's fitting. 9, right? Transformation, transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just so one, I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm committed to my spiritual journey. And yes, it is challenging. That's the reality of it. And thinking about what Professor Melanie said is helping me with the patience, moving in the knowing, because you know you're taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the other 5. I had a list. It's in my room. It's posted. We could bring it out, but I think that's helping me go through it because my position at my assignment, having to now be in another new location, knowing that I'm taken care of, but knowing and also being in it is a challenge because my spirit wants to break free of this construct, and a 9 to 5 ain't it. And I wasn't born in a 9 to 5 when I first, I guess I'm gonna cry. When I first started life, I was a dancer, so I didn't know what a 9 to 5 was. I went through 14, all I knew was being creative. And that creativity brought joy to people and brought joy to me. My mother always supported me. And that's how I got, if you want to call money as well, because money is a tool, but it was just always what I did to create. It was always in a space of that. And when I went to college, I had the opportunity to dance with Patra. And my teacher was like, go do it. This is the best education you're going to have. So I did that for 3 years and had little side jobs. Like back in the days, used to do like, what do you call it? Surveys and get paid for it on the side. So when you were a musician or, you know, a performer, you did little odd jobs because that was little thing you get back to what you were doing. So like I braided hair from 14. I posted flyers all over the train stations. I had clients coming to our house doing hair. I used to sew dresses with my hands and with my mother's shoes. And she was like, Sean, what you up to next? Like she always fed into my soul of being creative. She never questioned because she was a teacher, you know? And then I was always an A student up to 3 o'clock in the morning. They used to call me a nerd, like nerdita, you know? But I always wanted to experience life too. So I was the nerd, but I also understood the streets. So I hung in the streets. I smoked the weed. I drunk, but I always knew to go back to base to feed my soul. And then a dancer coming in college, FIT, I toured for 3 years and saw the world. I didn't even know what a 9 to 5 was. Like I didn't even know. That was never in my psyche from growing up. I'm gonna work for somebody. When I was 14 years old, I wrote, and this is how I know manifestation is real, but I didn't realize because as you're on your journey, you realize you were always that. So at 14, first of all, growing up, I really had low self-esteem because I grew up with a body and I always wore glasses, so I didn't really see myself as beautiful. So in my Chiron, going through it, it was the areas of self-love, right? Loving yourself. And I finally got to a point at 18 as I blossomed to love myself, right? And of course, the stages through that because you're always going through it. But to tour and see the world and to come back in the construct, I had my own apartment at 19. I was living in my grandmother's house, paying her rent. And like, I didn't know what a 9 to 5 was until I got pregnant with my son. And that was at 30. I was a realtor, real estate, investor. I was living on my investments. dancer, have my own businesses. I work little jobs, not like I'm in a career, because my career was an entrepreneur, being creative. And so I'm looking back knowing that where I'm at now, going through it, yeah, I'm going through it because Spirit had to put me back in a place, because after 10 to 12 years living off my investments, being a realtor, real estate, flipping houses, taking care of my son as a mom that is single. I don't say single mom, I said mom that is single, because I have a village.
Right.
It is
There you go.
challenging and it's overwhelming, because you also are a spirit where people come to you to share so that you can help them see what they're going through. And so it's finding balance with taking my energy back, being present, and also being present and patient, because I'm living now my soul truth as a financial soul healer, but now in a construct that I feel like I'm so in a box and my spirit wants to jump out. And I know it's a meantime of me going through it. And I'm trying to find a balance at the same time. And sometimes I just want to curl up and not come outside, or I just want to be like, can't make it today, because I just want to now pour back into me, because sometimes I feel like depleted because I'm giving so much. And I know I'm supposed to, but it's a lot. It's a lot. My son goes to college, it's me, it's the village, but it's just like, give me a minute. I just want to go away.
Understood.
You know, as you were speaking, you said about your career being an entrepreneur, and I heard that your career is you. Actually, said when you said my career is, I heard me. And that's true for everybody, and that's why we go through it, and that's why a lot of times we have to come back to something or experience a certain thing in a way so that well, ultimately we know what to do when we get clients in that same situation so we can help them. So for me, the going through it part, when you're doing all this stuff and the overwhelm and burnout and so on starts to kick in, I learned that the best way to handle that is spirit team, let them take care of that. So what I learned to do is to pace myself, and if there is some things you have to do, like your son is important, his situation, he has to be, you have to, that's not something that necessarily you can, he's not somebody that you can necessarily put on the back burner. You can ask for time out, and I know that you're a good communicator with your son, so you can you communicate in that way, and you can get from him what you need in order to reset in that regard. But there are things like the 9 to 5 where I had a whole thing around that, and I learned that the way to handle that is to say, spirit team, well, I didn't learn this until like 2021, 2022. I need help. Either I need this or that to go away until a later date or forever, and also to check in and ask, do I need to be doing this now? Should I be taking on this other thing now, or do I just put it on the list and do it in a few months or in a year or so. Because otherwise, then I was taking on a whole lot and just had no time for myself and was just going through life without really being able to tune in to what I was doing and how I was doing it and being able to get anything from it. So it is so that's what I had to learn, to bring my team into that. And if there was something that I wanted to do, and the possibility was that it might take a lot of, it might be super challenging, or because time-wise or energy-wise or so, I learned to check in first to see if, should I be doing this now or later on? And from doing that, it helped me to streamline things so that overwhelm and burnout were less likely to happen. And especially, I think for a mom who is single, even though you have a village, I am pretty certain I've seen you. You are dedicated. You are always on the go. And yeah, the key is to tap in. At least that's what it was for me. You are awesome at all that you do, but you got to take care of yourself because we need you with all that awesomeness. So if you need any help with anything, I'll put that out there. You can call me. But of course, you know that. Because that's
Yeah, you
how
were on my
we,
list, and Jamesia was on my list, but it's just,
I don't know if any
yeah.
of that made sense, but
It did.
And so thank you. I received it. Yeah.
What about you, Gillian?
so for me, this December, it seems like now it's about communication. So my Chiron is in Gemini,
Mm.
which means that I have to communicate. And I was brought present to the fact a couple of days ago, probably around the same time you were having that experience we spoke about before we started. I had to understand that the communication wasn't just me putting myself out there for to the public in terms of my soul's mission. It was my soul's mission is also about learning to communicate effectively and clearly in my personal life. Because apparently in the past, that wasn't something that I was good at. When I say past life, I would just keep everything in and kind of disappear and just keep it moving and not communicate with the people who were supposedly important to me. So, yep, that's what I'm going through right now.
Yeah. I find it interesting that it's literally like three different things. I really like that. Like three different points of views. Mine is like this. Well, my Chiron is in Cancer. I don't know if I said that. So that's basically me wanting everybody to feel safe, right? Me wanting to be home for everybody. And I'm learning, as I've been, I think the one thing the one thing that has been consistent in this Chiron retrograde is compassion, whether it's for other people or whether it's for myself. Like that's the one thing that's been consistent. And like I told y'all, something specific happened last night, you know, dealing with this new phase of where I'm at with my Chiron healing. And I said like at 5 o'clock this rising, like I was talking out loud because I needed to like put it all together about what the heck is going on. And I said that that certain thing made me feel unworthy. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? You know, when you say it out loud, it hit different. Like I had no idea why I reacted the way I reacted until I said it out loud. I'm like, I'm worthy, but why? You know what I'm saying? Like I just keep asking, like, why? Why? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just um putting the pieces together, right? Because I just want to do the work. Like I don't even, I don't know. I just, I'm trying to see because I can't. It's so much stuff that I want to say, but I don't. I keep getting a stop, like type of. So I just I want to tell you without telling you, right? So I'm trying to find other words, but yeah, man. And then you have Reshonah, like, with the not even balancing, because I feel like physical and spiritual, like you can't balance, but you have her where it's her trying to,
Harmonize.
huh?
Harmonize.
Harmonize. Correct. That perfect. That's beautiful. Yeah. Where she's trying to harmonize, you know, being at the assignment and then finding time for herself and then making sure that everything else that she's doing so wonderfully, right? Making sure that's also harmonizing within this you know, spiraling cycle of her evolving. And then yeah, I that is so beautiful. That's three different things, three different perspectives. And then, you know, Gillian with the communication that she just spoke about. Um, so the work is going through it. Another thing about that is, let me see, because I wrote it. I think I wrote it. Sure. Oh, it's on my phone, y'all. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh yeah, okay. So I put a note in my phone this rising, right, when I'm thinking about all this stuff, and it says you have to realize that when you are doing the work, the healing work, and what oh, that's me just talking. Okay, when you're doing the work and whatnot, right? Most people are not aware of the role you choose for them. Oh, oh my gosh, y'all, that came to me this rising. And I thought about that because of you know, what happened to me this rising. And it's like when you doing the work, like a lot of people like they don't be knowing like the role you chose for them, right? So like for example, I'm just going to use us. Like if I'm going through something, right? And then I speak to Reshonah about it, and I'm like, girl, you know, I just went through, you know, a breakup, right? And Reshonah like, well, what did you do? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, me? Like, and it kind of offend me, right? Like, Reshonah don't know, like, that's how she's supposed to react to that in order to trigger me to see exactly so I can look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. And so I said that to say like, or I feel like I that was like a significant part in what needed to come to light for me because a lot of times, and this is for all of us, a lot of times people want to play like the blame game, right? Oh, well, you was doing this and you was doing that, da, 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 but we never like internalize what's going on or what we need as the person actually being triggered, right? Because if I'm being triggered, then that affected me. It really had nothing to do with the person, right? That's just the role they had to play. And so when I was triggered earlier, you know, I had to not necessarily fight, but I had to realize like that other person, like I chose them to do that. They didn't do anything wrong, right? It just had to come out within me. And I had to figure out like, oh, okay, so what's that about you? You know what I'm saying? When you take the other person out of it and you realize they just playing a role, then you realize there's next steps that you need to take, right? And I thought that was very powerful, just that statement alone, and just realizing that everybody has a role in in our relationships, but in our lives. And when we realize that we tend to take the blame, we tend to not blame at all, first of all, but we tend to take that and use that energy for healing purposes. It's not so much about why you do that to me, or oh, so you thought this and that, all that kind of stuff, right? It saves arguments, and it solely makes you look in the mirror like, okay, why did that trigger you? Why do you feel the need to do such and such? You know what I'm saying? And so that's very beautiful. I'm realizing, and yeah, so what are y'all's thoughts on
it's a beautiful lesson, because I'm aware of that too now. And it's also how you play it. So you can play it in a way where it's done joyfully, that you've aspired up from the situation and realize what you contributed to. And it's not in a place where you're bashing yourself. It's a place to realization and to spiral up. The question is, when you realize that, and the other person is involved, it might be a space of, hey, what's up with you? Why don't we talk anymore? Or why are we not in the same type of relationship, right? And I think that when you come to that conclusion, some people say, oh, you do your healing, but you did. You realize what part you played, and you realize that a person might not supposed to be in your life anymore, or that's now their lesson to realize what they've contributed to. That's where you talk about the relationships, right? Because it takes two. So yes, we've entered each other for lessons. That person might not be on that same level of learning the lesson and might still need to draw from you, or might come from the place of, wow, I get my part too, and let's talk about it. And I had that recently happen where I had to realize, why did I go through this experience? And it was because I need to realize in my heart of wanting to do for people, I need to say no. Because I was open to give, and I realized that me and the other person is on a different frequency. And I came up with this t-shirt thing saying, I'm not better than you, I'm just on a different frequency.
Correct.
And so that lesson was, and my girlfriend texted me because I had to talk about it, saying, am I bugging out? I apologized from how I came out to the individual, of how I spoke, because she triggered something. And I was like, what? And I went abrupt, but then I had to go back inside, understood what that trigger was, and then assess, saying, I'm in a different frequency now. I take the lesson, I got it. I can't keep taking care of everybody and saying yes. They're gonna realize that when I say what community is, and when I say community, I mean community. When I say that I'm here for you, I'm here for you. You don't even have to speak to me. But if you require something, I'm gonna say yes, but I realize that I need to say no. And that was my lesson this week. And that lesson came from because I was asked to take care of, I say, my soul nephew and love him. And I just asked for, I said, maybe the communication was maybe I didn't communicate it well when I said that I don't need money to take care of my soul nephew. I just need you to provide money for food. But maybe I didn't communicate that well. So when I was taking care of my soul nephew and my son, I was honest saying, wow, they eat a lot. Yo, send me some of that money so that I can buy some more food. And then it got stagnant and abrasive and aggressive. And the young lady called me, and I love her, right? But I know we're in different growths. And she called me and made a statement about, you didn't tell me that. You told me just to give him a certain amount to take care of him. And I went grocery shopping for you. And I got aggressive because I said, you just brought this, this, and this, and this. They had it the first night. And I got triggered because any of my other community, family and friends, I would have never gone through that. It would have been automatic. I got your boo-boo, I'm taking care of him here. And I realized, like, whoa, am I bugging out here? What's the lesson here? Why did I get abrupt? So I text and say, I apologize, but I was firm of seeing the bigger picture. So my friend texted me and said, your heart is big. You need to now chill. And I had to realize that because my mom was that way. You know what I'm saying? But that was my lesson, to say it's okay. And then eventually the person sent me some money, but all I kept saying was, I just need food for them because they eat a lot.
Yeah.
You know, as a parent, as someone who's taking care of your child for a week, it was just that. And maybe I communicated wrong. But I guess in my head, it was like, how would you not think that you should as a parent? So that was my trigger. Do you know what I mean? Like, it should be automatic, because none of my soul family, we treat each other like family. We just give and provide. So I had to see that lesson for myself. Or what is that? I needed to see what triggered me and realize that everyone also don't have that love in their community. Not even blood, I'm talking about just soul family.
Yeah.
And realize that that's not my journey. I learned my lesson, but that is her journey. And I don't need to be in it to teach her anything. It's just wish her well on her journey as she goes through it and as I've gone through mine. And so, yes, you're right. There are reasons why people come in a life or a situation is to teach us. And it doesn't mean we still have to be stuck with that individual, or maybe it is when they come to light. But it is, yes, as you stated, what is the lesson? What is the trigger? What do I need to learn and ascend from that? But that is also your frequency and your growth. Because a lot of times when we go through that, after we start realizing the healing, you start questioning, did I do something again? No, you learned the lesson. They're now either have to come confront you with it on what they learned, or it's just, it was a pleasure meeting you. And be that too.
That is true,
whatever level that
because
was.
some people, people who are not harmonized, to use Sister Myra's word with you, they won't realize certain things. And it's true that when we are at a certain level, that and the fact that you're communicating via electronics, by text or whatever, people can misconstrue as opposed to a spoken conversation. They can see or receive your words in a text, even though it's meant to be fun and light. Some people can be offended because they're not hearing the tone that you're sending it in. So if they're not at that level where they're prone to thinking, okay, well, Reshonah is not that kind of person, so she couldn't possibly be meaning this. Or let me just respond by asking, well, what do you mean? What do you need? Instead of going off. Yeah, that can happen. And I need to correct something. I said Chiron, my Chiron is in Gemini. It's not, it's in Pisces. It's the North Node that's Gemini that I'm working on with this communication thing. But it all turns into the Chiron. It all goes back to the fact that Chiron is in Aries, because we're having to work on things that we are that we need to heal with this Chiron being in Aries until almost the end of December.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's real right now. A lot of things are coming up.
Yeah, it's definitely been a revealing time for sure. And I think that a lot of us are going through it. A lot of people who watching this are going through it, right? And you may not even know what it is, but patience with yourself, quiet time, these are things that's going to help you to just realize, like, okay, what was that for? You know what I'm saying? Just sitting. Oh my gosh, the magic of sitting and just getting, like, even if you don't know it to be like a message from spirit, like, guys, like, it's like gravity. Like, this stuff is like gravity. Like, it's just automatic, right? Like, you don't think about gravity every day. It's just automatic. Your ass go jump off a building. Guess what? Like, you out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you out of there, but you don't think about that every day. So the like the what's the word? The technique, I don't know, that just came to me. Or the task that came to the task of just sitting and being and figuring out why things are happening the way they happening, or why people are triggering you in certain ways or things, is magical, because you find peace, you find knowing in that particular thing, and that's when you can start doing the work. And the work is going through it. That's when you can start going through it and getting the things that that you require from that to ascend in that particular area. Um, so yeah, man, like, that's that.
Yeah, you started out with saying three of the things that we learned in that Professor Melanie said we should do when we, to be easy at this time in her, I think it was last weekend live. So should I give the list? Because I have it right
Oh
here.
Yeah, I
yeah.
was gonna get, but thank you.
Okay, so number one is to practice the patience. I'm giving it how she got it and how she gave it to us. So practice the patience, which means that you you're doing the spiritual work, but you also have to do patience is required because physical work is required for us to come into full alignment. So you ask for something, your spirit team to handle something, but you have to do work for it to happen, physical work. And so you have to be patient for that work to be completed so that everything falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
Second thing was rest when you feel a sense, the stress of a lack. So lack is not just not having something, like not having money or so, it's the overwhelm. It's the feeling like you're not communicating properly, things like that. Any type of resistance you're feeling. So if you're feeling stressed about it, sometimes. Oh, and when you're doing something like maybe you're building a website and you reach a point where there's resistance because you can't decide on what to do next, or it's not flowing the way you're doing and you want it to flow and you can't go through a certain thing, and then you go take a rest, you take a nap, and you wake up with the how to keep going, the answer to whatever question you have, you wake up with that answer. That's why you rest, because when you rest, you wake up with the answer. And know that you're provided for. So just know, basically. We're not believing, hoping, trying, guessing, thinking. We are just knowing. Number four is be in total control of your thoughts. That's a difficult one. That can be that's At least for me, that's a difficult one. So I just have to keep rolling back. Number 5 is meditation for guidance ultimate. And when I tell you meditation works, ask Reshonah, ask Jamesia. You gotta meditate.
Work.
Number 6, follow through in knowing of guidance. I'll say that again. Follow through in knowing of guidance. So when you receive your promptings, Spirit says go left and you think it's right, go left. Because if you go right, you're going to run into some problems and you're still going to end up having to come back and go right. So why go through the steps of going right for a week when you still have to come back and go left?
Yeah.
And it's going to take you another week to get back to going left. So,
And look, that's when you start getting all frustrated and whatnot. Like,
all right,
but
resistance. Yeah.
we do it to ourselves,
Number
y'all. We don't even realize it.
Number 7 is be in waiting. So she said that means be in anticipation, in excitement without wavering for the thing to happen. So when you set your intention or you know something awesome is getting ready to happen for you, it's already happened in the spiritual realm. Just be in that state of excitement and just see it coming and know it's coming, not believe or think or hope or try. Know that it's here and release doubt. When doubt starts to come in, tell it back the whatever up. And so you be in waiting. And then the last one was accept all with gratitude. Now, all is
Oh,
everything, the good, bad, the indifferent,
yeah.
because it's like back to what we said about the work is going through it. How you go through it with acceptance is how you get to the other side with the blessings, because even the good stuff, we know when we're going through the good stuff that it's leading to good stuff. But we've been conditioned to think that going through bad things is a bad thing and it's not going to lead to anything good. But suppose the universe is testing you to see how you will handle that supposedly bad thing, because right after that supposedly bad thing ends, the reward is waiting right there. So it's like how when it's raining, it's pouring, there's a storm, the sun comes out at the end. That's the reward for going through that storm. So
And an additional rainbow.
accept it with gratitude, because it's teaching you something. It's that storm is clearing up things, it's washing away stuff. So what do y'all have to say?
So yeah, that list is super, super powerful. And so it's like in your head, right? You low-key like, you know those things, right? But when you can see it and actually follow the steps, understand, overstand, and understand the breakdown of it, like it's beautiful. This week, like, well, really it's been happening for longer than that, but this week, we talking about this week, because this week been crazy. Well, not crazy, but you know, it's been what it's been, right? But y'all, have y'all like recognized the manifesting energy that's going on right now? I'm talking about to the, like, everything I say, I literally see it in like 2 seconds to a minute, like literally. I'm like, what? So that alone, like those steps that Gillian gave y'all, the whole thoughts, the thoughts one, y'all, please, 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 because everything is manifesting, and we moving into an 8-year. The work is already here. We going through the work right now. We working. How you see? We going through it right now, y'all. So please, 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 if you don't do nothing else, watch your thoughts. speak very, very highly of yourself, regardless of what's going on, accept all, like she just said. It's so important to be in gratitude for all, because you can't have one without the other. Like, that's the thing we gotta we gotta know. That's the thing we gotta know. We live in a world of duality, of polarities. There's no good without the bad. There's no up without the down. There's no east without the west. So on and so forth. There's no water without fire. So on and so forth, y'all. And the minute we the second we realize that they are on the same spectrum, and you can't have one without the other. Like, I can't have this top part of this pen without this back part. I can't. Like, it just won't work, right? The pen to keep coming out and all that. It just won't work, right? And so that's so important to carry throughout your daily lives, because you then realize that everything is good. It's real simple. Everything is good because you needed that in order to evolve, or to spiral up in the first place. Whatever it was that you thought was bad, you actually required that in order to move up. Some of us, some of y'all, some of us, whatever the case, homeless, you needed that, because how you gonna be grateful for what's about to come in this 8 year, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? So just be patient with yourselves, and understand, like, what it really is that you're going through and why. Really get to the bottom of it. A lot of us not getting to the root of the issue. We talking to our parents, they make us mad, and we just think that's what it is. No, why did it happen? Why you got mad? Why they said what they said? Why did it trigger you in that way? Like, why? Every time you figure out the answer, ask why again. Get to the root, the stuff that's in the soil, okay? Like, stop being so small with everything. Stop being shallow. That's the word. Let's stop being shallow. Like, it's time to evolve. And evolving don't come from shallow. You don't get the ocean with just the shallow part. It's so many layers to the ocean, and you got to discover all of those within yourself. You are water, you are the ocean, and you have to discover all those layers. You have to peel back all of those layers in order to do this thing that we call evolving, spiraling up, being out the loop. All of that comes with peeling back layers. And yeah, I don't know what that was.
And the layers, how we know that there's a layer to peel back? It's the trigger. So don't be concerned about how do I know what I gotta heal? It will show up because you're triggered by somebody or something. So that's how you know.
Yeah, and also when you triggered by, remember, don't blame the other person, because at that point, that's not knowing of the things you have to take care of. You still trying to put it on somebody else. So putting it on somebody else is never going to get you into the spot of peeling back layers, right? Because you ain't gonna know that those are layers that you got to peel back, because you're too busy trying to put it on somebody else, right? So very true, very true.
Yeah.
Watch out for all triggers, y'all. All triggers, whatever it may be, no matter how small, no matter how big. Look into it all. It's all meaningful. It's all a part of you. It's all a part of your growth.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Reshonah?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any other words? Any other things? Mm-mm. Okay.
I had a client, wow, saying things, and he was 23. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, what you need me to help you with? He was like, I was recommended to you. I need to come to you. Beautiful spirit, Libra, 1013, just great energy. And he said, I need help with saving. And pretty much he's in a place where parents are there for him. He doesn't need to pay rent, doesn't really have a big overhead. And I said, this is a time now that you should really just be saving, but really investing so you can live your fruitful life. And I started going off on a tangent about what is truth. And I shared a video with him about this Asian guy who talked about the matrix and the truth about a 9-to-5. I got to send it to you guys. And it was his thought process and level of polarity was so deep, because he said, we've been lied to about the whole 9-to-5 concept, about the whole get an education and get a job. He was like, but again, it's your choice. He goes, because everything is relevant based on what you want in this life. He goes, you could take the red pill, the blue pill. And he goes, maybe you can live both, because if you choose to take the red pill, he goes, I'm not gonna lie to you. He goes, it might be a lonely road, but you're living the way you want to be. Or you can combine both pills and enjoy friends, living through the 9-to-5, going through, holiday events, and just having that matrix level. He goes, nothing's wrong, nothing's bad, but it's what you choose. He goes, but when we think about the big picture and solving all these political aspects of things that really doesn't really exist, he goes, I chose not to because it's too big. He said, it's not for me to change. Mm-hmm. It's not, as he said, it's not for me to change, but what it is for me to change is to figure out what I supposed to do here and what makes me, in the sense he's saying, joyful. He goes, so I choose to be in the background, living my red pill life and creating what I want. So I had a young man listen to it. So the young man says to me, he goes, oh my God, like you're speaking to my heart. He goes, I get up my bed every day and I say, what is a 9-to-5? I'm not supposed to be working on it. This is not real. Why am I doing this? He goes, I swear. So he's talking, he's like, I swear you're talking to my heart, because since I was small, I was like, who created this? Why are you supposed to be working hard? This is a 23-year-old. Okay. And I said, you got it. I said, so what do you want to do? He goes, well, I want to be a musician. I want to DJ. I want to be with my friends. He goes, I want to live. And I said, you should. So let me help you. I said, but you're going to have to do some things so that you can live that lifestyle. And so you hear this job temporarily so that you can now take the money, invest it, and also live what you want to do. It's temporarily. He goes, well, how am I going to do that? I said, well, let's analyze and assess what your lifestyle is going to be and what you require. So you can create you being a DJ, so you can study and practice like you wanted to, because you don't have time to practice. So you can practice a little more time. So he goes, well, I want to get a part-time, practice my DJing, and then DJ. I go, and you can do that. So let's play with those numbers to make that happen. He was like, I swear you are talking to me in my heart, and this is what I know in my soul, because this is all a lie. I swear to you. I looked at him and I said, I'm going to help you, because you're right. We were lied to. You're supposed to be living and not existing. Yes, there are going to be some type of rules, to get you to the next place, because it's part of the construct, but it's not the real reality. Mm-hmm. Right. Someone else, and what the guy talked about, he goes, someone made these rules for you, and you're living in their rules and their way of what they want you to do. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh my God, he's right. You're living in someone else's rules, someone else's laws. And we've been bamboozled, and we're awakening. People are no longer want to exist. People no longer want to be confined to their 401k. That is another construct that they lied to you about. Mm-hmm. Because when you try to withdraw the funds, you can't. You got to pay on your own money back. So I just said that to say we are working through that, but we're working through really seeing the truth that we can create the life that we want to live, not in someone else's eyes. And it's not that they're wrong. They just got the vision early. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of what they wanted to
Well, it's
create
not that
and
they
what they
wrong.
want
They
to put
just,
in that
it's for
construct.
them. Yeah, it's for them, and they putting it on other people. I think that's a big thing too. Like,
And it's not wrong when you think about the mastery in that way of thinking, creating. You have the same potential.
Correct.
Keep thriving through chaos, everybody. You're just human capital for a
Correct.
few who
Yes.
helped you to forget who you really are so that they
Yes.
could enslave you, so that they
Exploit
can
you.
fill up their coffers with wealth that really belongs to you.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line. And the whole thing is to learn how to harmonize 3D so it helps you, and how to learn how to follow your promptings so that you don't get stuck in 3D while you're using 3D. Just like how those people who call you human capital learned to do from you, no less. They learned that from us and then they turned it on us. So let's turn it back. That's how you get out the loop.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what we
Word.
work on. Y'all,
That's what I'm saying.
One person at a
Yeah.
time.
Exactly. So that's what I had to say.
I concur.
Well said.
Very well.
You
Very
just laid it down. That's what being out the loop is about.
Yeah.
And I told my son that today, passionately. And he said, I get it, Mom.
Yeah.
And he's 17. I said, if you want to go to school, you can go to school. But it's a part of what's going to help you create your freedom and what your purpose is here for. And I said, it's not about a 9 to 5. And he got it. I said, you see how because these kids today, they're different, right?
Baby,
No, they're not doing no 9 to 5, please.
They don't know what that is. They
No.
like, heck to the no.
Yeah, no, they ain't.
I'm going to do it on my terms. I'm going to heal the world, but on my terms.
Yeah.
It again, as above, so below, taking lessons from them. And I love watching it from my rear view mirror. It feeds my soul and it teaches me, because while we're here in a physical form, it's so much we can learn from them. They are unapologetic to get their freedom. They are unapologetic to request and demand what they require. They are unapologetic, these kids.
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yep.
And we have to guide them. That's the balance.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're searching for their spiritual advisors, their spiritual healers. They're thriving through chaos because they're going through it too, because they feel that this world is unfair because they're vibrating on such a higher frequency.
Yes. Yep. The key word being guide them. Guide.
Yeah. They're looking, they're asking, they're calling out. And they don't feel that there's no one there because not even their parents.
Yep. Because you have people in the construct who don't want to loosen up, who don't want to see things for what they are. It's just all about what you've been taught. And that's not fair to the new generations coming in, because they know something totally different. Totally different. So.
They have their memory.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it buckles down to anybody can teach you something. Like whether it's a homeless person off the street, been on drugs for 25,000 years, like anybody, whether they're a millionaire, whether they're a thousandaire, whatever the case, you know what I'm saying? Like anybody. And children are a part of that. Children are a part of that. They're a big part of it. They're a big part of it. Yep. So yeah. I do want to say, guys, that I'm grateful for y'all. Obviously, I love you guys so good. Let's put our Reshonah, you can go since you're on this side of me. I don't know if y'all switched or not, but we're going to give out our other platforms so that you guys can check us out individually, because we all do different things, finances and counseling and things. And so yeah, let's do that. Reshonah, if you want to go first, give me your Instagram or YouTube or.
Sure. So you can find me Financial Soul Healer, Soul Natural Healing Consultants, LLC, BK Crypto Coaching. It's all about financial soul healing and understanding your soul traumas, and again, elevating that to understand your value, and then again, which equates to your purpose. So you can reach me at BK Crypto Coaching at gmail.com. My IG is RB Rising, BK Crypto Store at IG.
RB Rising
or you
1.
can. So yes, thank you. RB Rising 1. Thank you.
Yeah.
Of my IG for Financial Soul Healing. You can do Reshonah Bennett at gmail.com. And I'll be happy to assist. Thank you.
So for me, IG is the_wholesome_life_coach. YouTube channel is Gillian Thomas with a Guyana flag. Facebook, Gillian Thomas. Website, BeBoundlessLLC.com. And my email, BeBoundlessLiving@gmail.com.
Perfect. Perfection.
Yeah, that's it.
And you can find me at Instagram is Love Jay's Heart, JAES Jay's Heart. TikTok is Adorn My Magic. YouTube is Adorn Magic. Facebook is Jamesia Lynn, JAMESIA, Jamesia Lynn. And I think that's it. Oh, email is adornmagic555, I think. Yes, at gmail.com.
And that's magic, MAGICK, right?
Absolutely. Magic, MAGICK, like Gillian said. And then you can find us all at outtheloop777@gmail.com. And that's OUTDALOOP777@gmail.com. We are still waiting for you all to start emailing us with whatever things that you want to talk about so that we can talk about them on the podcast. We look forward to your stories. We look forward to your whatever it is that you have to say, whatever it is. It don't have to be a story. It could be whatever you feel like saying, right? We're free here.
Question, looking for clarification on something we talked about.
Yeah. Totally. All of that, y'all. So again, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you share the video if you felt anything from it. Make sure you, I don't know if I said this, but comment. And yeah, we love you guys so good. Do you ladies have anything else to say before we close out of here?
All of the contact information we gave is in the description box on our channel Out the Loop.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Watching.
Thank you guys.
Peace.
Peace.